Hello, this is Angel Talk podcast with Brenda Hardwick. This is the October 2025 episode, and our title today is focus on is no, sorry, fall into you, be you no matter what. I went one line lower. The Angel Talk podcast has been going on for a little over 2 years now. If you go to YouTube, you can find me. You'll see my face. Um, and you can listen to all of the podcasts that are on YouTube. If you want to listen to the earlier podcasts, they are voice only and they are on Spotify because I haven't figured out how to move them over, but that will happen soon because um, I'm going to get some help with it. Anyway, fall into you, be you no matter what. Now, when the angels suggested this as the topic, because they give me all my topics, I wondered who was going to volunteer to speak on it because that's how I got my speakers. And our guest speaker this month is Brandi Pummell, and she is an intuitive healer and she does a whole lot of other things, but I will let her address some of that. Um, One of the favorite things of mine that she does is she has a vibro-acoustic lounge that you sit on, and the music she turns on, depending on what you need, works on you, and it's amazing. I always, I usually fall asleep when when I'm on it. Brandi, so you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure, I'm Brandi Pummell. I have a business, Brandi's Healing Magic. I've had that business for a long time, but it started as my antidote to practicing law. So it was a way for me to stay healthy, and that's how I found the vibroacoustic sound lounge and the Reiki that I do and the angelic healing that I do. And the way that the angels presented it to me is the more layers you have, the more senses you have, the deeper the healing goes. And so the vibroacoustic sound lounge helps put you in a meditative state, makes you more receptive to the angelic healing and the Reiki that I do. I also work with the dragons and the unicorns, just depending on what kind of energy you need. And I very much tune in beforehand to see what kind of music and what kind of energies you need. But it works on the principle of entrainment, which is that your body will match what's around it. And so subtly, the music helps put you more in a meditative state. And if you think about it, like when you go to the beach, like Brenda's got behind her, the mountains like you have behind me, we tend to slow down because we're surrounded by nature. And the principal entrainment works the same way. I can slow down your energy or I can speed it up. So it's just a different way to put yourself in a meditative state in a fun, gentle way. And because it is quiet, I can do it at fairs. Sorry, that's my share cat. He likes to help. Um, and so it's just another way to layer the healing modalities.
Awesome. Thank you. And now we'll get to our topic, fall into you, be you no matter what. So it is fall, and with the changing of the seasons, although across the world the seasons are kind of weird this year, like October in Portugal is usually cold and it has started raining, and we have gotten, I think, one rainstorm since the end of September. And that's unusual. And I know that it was really hot in the States in places where it should be a little cooler. So we are dealing with a different kind of fall, and being you no matter what can be a challenge. For me, it's been um, It's been a challenge to be me because I am still dealing with fallout from chemo, and I am trying to do the things I used to do the way I used to do them. And that's not always working. So I have to focus on me and talk to my angels and the guides and ask them, all right, so if that's not working, what's it going to be like? I still want to do this, whatever this is. And the latest thing has been dancing. And it's just been a challenge. It's been difficult. I don't have the stamina. Um, and then I'm thinking, all right, maybe I'm rushing it. And so being you no matter what means for me, you have to go inward and you have to find out where you are and what's going on with you so that you can be you no matter what. Brandi, what's your take on this right off the top?
Well, I think when we generally embrace who we are, we send out a vibration, a frequency, so that the people who really understand us can find us. And for a long time in my childhood, I was not really accepted for who I was, and my gifts were discouraged actively. And so for a while, I kind of put a box around myself. I think of it as an ice cube where I didn't let most people into that box.
Mhm.
And over time, I've learned to dismantle that box. And then I'm able to find the people that get me, like you. But I also am reminded, like, the more that I am myself, the more I give permission for my nieces, my neighbors, young people in my life to be themselves as well. And I keep reminding them that your favorite friends are not the ones who have like the picture perfect life and you only know the surface. It's the ones that let you in and show that their favorite place in the world is to be at the Ren Fair dressed up, pretending to be a pirate. Or my goth girl cellist, who is definitely a goth girl, but she plays classical cellist, beautifully. And it's those mismatches and those in inconsistencies from what the world expects that really makes us all unique and really allows us to bring who we really are and how we're different into the world, because that is actually where our soul is and our gifts are, the things that really light us up, where we lose time. And it may not fall in something that typical society thinks about.
That's a really good point that you make. And as a healer and having gone through, what I've been through this last year, um, one of the things I find is that I forget about my gifts, and I forget that the people I draw to me are the people that can see me for me, and I don't have to pretend. You don't have to code switch. Like I could be me with you the same way I can be me with my family. And even if it looks weird and it doesn't make any sense, you're okay with it. They're okay with it, you know. Um, and that's a good thing. And I forget that sometimes that's where you find and you hold on to your foundation of who you are. And
Well, and I think for you, part of it is that you're in a new place, right? So it
yeah,
takes us a while to find the people that we can trust with our innermost selves. And so it often takes me 6 months, a year to really let people in. And then once I do, then they see my humor or they see some of my quirkiness. But you've come like you've traveled to a new place, and so the people you know on that level are fewer than you had for like 30 years, right?
yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, good. I don't feel so bad. I I know that yeah, what you say is very true. Um, and because we're human, and especially after going through COVID and being so isolated with just your family and only, the people that you could be around, especially if you had to quarantine, it's a challenge now, especially for me and being here. You're absolutely right. To find people that are on my level. And, I have found a group of metaphysical practitioners and beings that are they are my group right now. They are my people right now. Um, I'm having more trouble with the people outside of that group than those inside. And you know, a lot of it is the perspective you look at things through. I remember to ask my angels, well, do I need to do that? Do I need to go there? And, if they come back with the answer, if you want to, well, that means that I have to sit down and figure out if I really want to. Um, Especially when there's been a conflict with one person or um, more than one person. Do I really want to be around that energy? And the answer uh, that I'm coming up with because there's been one episode is no, I don't. And I don't have to.
And remember, Brenda, sometimes those interactions are signs that you've outgrown a situation or there's something out there that you need to make time for, right? Like, I was in an orchestra for almost 20 years and I've outgrown that particular orchestra and I haven't found my new one yet. But if I had stayed in that one where I wasn't quite fitting anymore, then I wouldn't have room for some of the other things that I'm doing now. So we have to listen to those nudges. And there's always going to be some people that we have to put on a mask for, or at work there's things that we have to do to conform to company culture or to minimize conflict. But you don't want to do that in every aspect of your life. You want to have one or two people that you can be honest with. And for some people, it's your family, but for some people, it's your chosen family, you
Right.
know, and it can shift. So, so it's really about listening to those, I call them spidey senses,
Mhm.
when you're getting a nudge. And you and I both know this, but if you don't get the little tap on your shoulder, there'll be a bigger tap on the shoulder. And
Yes.
then if you're really not listening, you'll get a kick in the butt.
Yes.
So, um,
Absolutely.
and there's always places where we're more reluctant to make those leaps.
Yeah.
So, it's just knowing yourself, but also giving yourself that grace, right?
Yeah. And those are the two things that are important, knowing yourself and giving yourself grace, which sometimes can be a challenge because we tend to hold ourselves up higher than we really need to. Not whether we should or shouldn't, whether we need to. Um, if you're happy with where you are, who you are, what you're doing, not with the people around you, then it's okay. And it's okay to step back and change something that you were doing because it doesn't feel good. Um, that's hard. It's very
Mhm.
hard. And
Especially when you've been with a group of people for 20 years, right?
yes,
And you outgrow them in some way or shape or form. And, but I also remind myself, especially right now, is when long-term friendships start fading away or you have conflict with somebody that normally you don't, sometimes it can just be a shift in your energy. It can be temporary, it can be permanent. But when we have those big tower moments, like in the tarot, the tower moments,
Yes.
it's usually
Sorry. Um, yeah, I agree. It's also, if it's people, well, it's usually people. When you're dealing with people, especially um, in our world, since since COVID, our worlds have become more compartmentalized. We've got this group that we're with, and this group over here, and that group there. And if you still have connection with the group because of an outing, a um, an event, or something you're participating in one way, and you're not with that person or near that person, but they're there. Um, you might not have to do a code switch, but you might arm yourself and cover yourself to keep
right,
that
be
energy from
prepared,
affecting.
right?
Yes, yes,
Think about what you might say if you need to
yes.
distance yourself, or, if you have trusted friends, say, hey, can you I've heard this between husbands and wives, like when one wants to go, they have a code word, right?
Yeah,
So,
good idea.
yeah, it's just we're in a time where it's harder to navigate. So when we get in those times it's harder to navigate, that's when we really have to trust
Yeah,
ourselves and think about the flow in our lives, right? So if
yeah,
something feels easy, like you're coasting down a river in a tube, then you know you're following spirit. But if it feels like you're swimming upstream, then you might need to make a slight adjustment. And it doesn't necessarily mean 180 degrees, it can be a 10-degree difference.
yeah, yeah,
But you'll feel the difference, right?
yeah,
And when you make decisions, sometimes anxiety will happen when you're in the middle of the decision, but once the decision's over, you should feel lighter, calmer, more peaceful. And if you do, then you know it was the right decision, even if it
yeah,
was a hard decision.
yeah.
Um, it's just when we are in a change, and the whole world's in a lot of change right now, those are the times where you have to take the time to go within. You have to listen to your heart and your mind where they join, that wisdom place. Um, and sometimes we don't know right away what's the right thing. But if you are genuine with yourself, you will find that center, quiet place, and you will find where you're supposed to be. And when you get to that place, because you're there, you will find your people
Yes, I agree with you
because you're being you.
because you're being you. Yes. You mentioned the fact that the whole world is dealing with a whole bunch of change right now, and um, that the angels gave this title, "Fall into You." Um, it's change. Fall is change. We're seeing the leaves change. We're seeing the weather change, even if it's not going exactly the way we thought it would for this time of year. School started, so the kids are back in school. Um, there's um, there's a change in what's available as far as vegetables in the grocery store because summer's over, so a lot of that summer stuff is not there. There's a change in um, what's available on television to watch, if that's one of the things you do. From here, there's not a lot of on TV right now. It's like nothing, because there I don't know what the issue is that they're waiting for, it must be a date for the all of the sitcoms and what have you to get started again. Um, there's not a lot of new movies out right now. There's one or two, but usually there's a handful of them at a time. So it's just change everywhere and on every level. There is change happening, and it can be a challenge for anyone to be themselves no matter what. So, what I want to do is remind folks, remember, you're not alone. You can ask your guides, you can ask your angels, you can ask a friend. You know, I'm thinking about doing this, and these are the things that I'm not sure about. This is what I am sure about and why I want to do it. What do you think? And that's just the way you could say it to your friend or to your angels or your guides or in a prayer, and you'll get an answer.
Mhm.
You'll
And I'm an
find out.
external processor, so if I can't talk to somebody, I'm blessed because I have people I can talk to. But if there's something that I'm still mulling over or it's in the middle of the night and I need to talk, I find I can externally process through writing, whether that's on my computer or with a pen. And because I self-edit with my right hand, I'll often switch to my left hand. And so it's more
Wow.
free flowing and it's more permission to just let it be free, um, free experience, free
Well,
thought.
that's really cool. You can write with your left hand.
No, I can't read it, but by
Oh,
the time I write it, it's
okay.
gone through my brain. So it doesn't,
Okay.
I mean, if I have to go back when I'm done and rewrite it while it's fresh to remember it, I will. But
Okay.
just by going through that process, it helps me to externally process. And I have no idea why that is. But for those of us who are listening, if you don't have safe people to talk to, that's one way to connect with your angels when you don't necessarily hear them the same way Brenda does, because I don't. I get information, but I have to it's more consciously tuning in. So I do better if I'm doing readings for somebody else or if I'm writing or when I do take the time to be quiet. Um yeah. So like I said with me, because I'm an external processor, writing can fill that void if it needs to.
Okay. That's interesting with the left. I mean, I'm left-handed, and it's if I write with my right hand, it's like you said, I can't read that. It's yeah, no. But it's interesting. I never thought about doing that. And there is a left brain, right brain connection with, thought processes. Um, not to get scientific here, but that's a really good idea. I might try that myself. I hadn't thought about that. Um, really good idea. Um, when it comes to the subject, tell me what was the first thing you thought of when you chose, because you chose this subject. What was the first thing you thought of that you
I
would want to
thought
share?
about my niece,
Okay.
who even at 3 was a goth girl,
Oh, wow.
but
At three?
also loved my violin when she was 4 and was too small for it. And how she doesn't like, she is so like, this is for me or this isn't for me. And even though it doesn't fit the labels that society gives her, I have so much respect for her willingness to say things that, stick up for her friends that other people don't, her willingness to be herself no matter what other people think. I also thought about my friend Mickey, who wears a mask. Now, he's Japanese and they teach you to wear a mask. Um, but I'm one of the few people he takes his mask off for. And he's so much more interesting when he takes that mask off. He's such more genuine person, and it does prevent him from meeting people. And then I'm reminded of another past boyfriend that I had who's across the Rainbow Bridge now, and remember like just where I knew him, where other people didn't. And then my own history where I used to think I had to play a role. And the older I get, the less I play that role, the more I'm actually finding my genuine people. And I'm feeling more at home in my body and with myself. And I know that's part of my journey was to find that out. Um, and so like there was no hesitation when I got your list of topics. This was my first choice.
That's so awesome. That's so cool to hear. No, y'all do good work. um, Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, I will tell you when I saw the topic, I was like, what are y'all talking about? Because now this went out like back in June. So it was before all the stuff I've been through happened. And I didn't know it was going to happen. So it was really interesting how the topics that they chose have fit right in with everything that I've gone through. And then when I asked, people to sit down and discuss it, um, the stories have just been amazing. So I want to thank you for sitting with me today. If there's anything else that you would like to share, um, please do.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Brenda. I will send Brenda the information so she can put it in the comments for this. But I have Brandy's Healing Magic. You can always get me at brandishealingmagic@gmail.com. I'm in Denver.
Uh, Thank you, Brandi, for being with me today. Next month, our topic is focus on gratitude. There it is. And my guest speakers will be Scott and Monica Bonnier. And I may be saying their last name wrong. I have to hear them say it again. But they are healers. I actually met Scott one fair that I worked in Colorado Springs, Body, Mind, Spirit in Colorado Springs. And he was just getting started on his journey as a healer. And now he's just knocking the socks off of folks. So, and Monica is a healer in her own right. She might kick me for saying that, but it's the truth. Um, it'll be interesting to hear from them next month, and that's in November. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.